The Barcelona of Flick's Roadrunners, the Speed Demons, has arrived and debuts with a 5-0 win against Elche. And if before I continue, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like. Also, before I continue, I'd really appreciate it. But let's get right into it because Barcelona have debuted with a bang. And it was an odd game for me, quite honestly, because if I'm being honest, I did not like this game the first half. I was very upset. I was disturbed. I did not like what I was seeing on the pitch because we were very erratic in possession. But before I continue in that, let's start off with the starting lineup because it's true that Barcelona did start with a bit of a weird lineup. You had John Garcia in goal, Eddie Garcia at right back. You had Christensen and Gerard Martin at the center back position. You had Xavi Espart playing at the left, who did a decent job out there. You had Gavi and Marc Bernal in the midfield. You had Fermin at the 10. You had Adeyemi playing off the left rather than the right. You had Lamine Yamal off the right, and you had Raphinha up top. But the first half, I did not like all that much at all because I felt that our press was very out of sync. And that's normal, right? It's the first game of the season, first competitive game of the season. We've had a lot of players that have been at the World Cup that didn't do a proper preseason compared to an Elche side who's very attacking minded, that they possess the ball, pressing and circulating the ball well. And I think that we struggled up against that. And I think that it's understandable. We're not necessarily in full rhythm just yet, but some of the mistakes were just incredibly erratic, to say the least, because I think that Gavi and Bernal were having a terrible game in possession. Adeyemi as well. Lamine Yamal also. I think the team as a whole were quite erratic. We were very irresponsible on the ball. We would press relatively well, right? Like sometimes they would beat our press, but then we'd manage to recover the ball. But I just didn't like the synchrony of the team in the first half. It was frustrating. It was boring. It was like it wasn't boring, but it was what's the right term that I'm looking for? It was sloppy. It was erratic. There was a lot of times where we could connect the easy pass, but we would mess up the pass, not give it to the right person, or you would have a bad giveaway, and that was translated into the possession. Elche had more possession than Barcelona did in the first half. I think it was like 55-45. And for a Barcelona side, that is a very, very bad symptom. That means that we are playing poorly. Xavi Espart, Marc Bernal, and probably Raphinha were the guys that were playing best in that first half. We find ourselves with a goal after a recovery up top where we've managed to recover the ball in the attacking half. Raphinha takes a touch, is about to turn, but he gets kicked by the Elche defender, and Raphinha goes and takes his pen well. Later on, same thing. We're finding Adeyemi and Raphinha with runs in behind. Raphinha lays it off to Adeyemi. Adeyemi puts it in the back of the net with his weak foot. And Adeyemi, who also I thought had an erratic game, but he was still very active, like physically. I really appreciated that he had decent work rate in dropping back and defending because he knew that Xavi Espart was behind him, and I really appreciated how much he was dropping back to defend. But on the ball specifically, I thought he wasn't all that great. I think he was making some certain mistakes. Obviously, it's weird to be playing on your natural foot side off the left when he's usually accustomed to playing off the right. And I think that contributed. But regardless, because he continues to add value with his physical capabilities, his speeds, his runs in behind, he managed to find himself in a goal scoring opportunity and took his chance well. But overall, I just thought that first half, we didn't play up to par to what we're supposed to, especially on the ball. But we kind of already saw what Flick was trying to get at. And you had a Raphinha who was just a nuisance. He was a nuisance all game long. He was spectacular. Raphinha, our MVP, Raphinha captain, the Raphinha that we need for this season. Especially, we don't know how that situation is going to unfold with the striker position for us by the end of next week when the transfer window closes. But if we're not going to have a true striker, a proven striker, Raphinha is going to have to be bagging goals. So him getting 2 goals and 1 assist, man, you just gotta. I love Raphinha so much. Like the work rate that this guy can play off the left. He can play off the right. He can play down the middle. This guy can play everywhere. He has such a influence in the energy of the team and the way he's just so incessant in his pressure, in his runs in behind, in his association, his relentless pursuit of excellence is crazy, man. This is a guy that can operate in all different sorts of positions, and he finds ways to perform. And today we saw him perform at the center forward position, and then he scores a second goal off the right. It's incredible. It's incredible. But in that first half, we had some bad news. Gavi coming off with the injury, which came after that one tackle that he had where he got a hit to his shin, which might have forced some sort of knock within his knee. So I hope all that's well. And for those asking that were who still ask themselves why is it that we went for Rodri when we have injury prone players like Marc Bernal and Gavi who are coming off of serious injuries, it's because of situations like this. And Frankie de Jong, that's also injury prone, Pedri as well. This is why you buy Rodri. So you have that depth there. So you have those guarantees. So you have a guy that's able to fill in and still control the tempo and pull the strings of a game. That's why you buy Rodri. Um, what more of that first half? Oh yeah, I think that yes, that first half, I would say that Lamine Yamal didn't have his best of games, but honestly, if you take a look at just the starting lineup in and of its own, there all the World Cup players are not playing. They're not starting. They just started training 9 days ago. I'll be the first to say Yamal did not have a good game, but he's barely in preseason. He started training a week ago. He barely had any rest. He went into the World Cup with that hamstring injury and kind of learning how to manage that throughout the entirety of the tournament. And he started at the Gamper as well against Al Ahly, and now he's starting again today. Out of all the World Cup guys, he's the only one. If Pedri, Olmo, Kubarsi, all the guys that went to the World Cup, pretty much except for Gavi, because Gavi didn't really have a big role at the World Cup, did not play. They've been coming off of the bench because obviously they're fried from a fitness perspective. But and so is Lamine. I think we need to be managing his minutes more. I know he wasn't happy coming off because he was upset with his game. He's the first one that knows when he hasn't played well. And I don't think there's a whole Lamine Yamal case. Is there something deeper? Chill out, relax, take a breather. All right, Flicks at the wheel. Deco, Flick, and Laporta and Co are at the wheel. All right, so calm down. We're gonna see Lamine eventually catch his form, but y'all gotta understand the man's coming and starting to play after a hefty summer where he was severely overworked in that tournament where he played through a hamstring injury, and he's now trying to find his footing once again. So zero worries with Lamine. It's the first game of the season. He started training a little over a week ago. All the other World Cup guys haven't been playing as much as he has because Flick knows how pivotal Lamine is for this side. But I think we're going to have to be doing some load management with Lamine as he settles in. Maybe after the international break, that's going to be 3 weeks long. After that, he can finally catch his stride, start to feel the rhythm again because it's only been a week. But I think that when Pedri came on, though, Pedri Pedri's excellence. Pedri controlled the tempo of the game walking from a static position, just enabling guys left and right. Because yes, we need road runners, but those road runners need to be fed. And there's a chef, and his name is Pedri. Pedri was finding each and every one of them in those runs in behind. It was spectacular to see. And in the second half, guess what? Pedri comes in, second half, we regain possession, and we're finding our guys. And all of a sudden, things start flowing. Bow, 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 bow. And it's lovely. I love it. I'm in love with what I'm seeing once again on the pitch. In the second half, we really turned things up whenever Dani Olmo and Anthony Gordon came on. Anthony Gordon playing off the left, Dani Olmo at the 10, Fermin at the false 9, off the right, Rafa. And in that little sequence there, you had a magical Pedri who turns on that Elche defender beautifully, sends him for a hot dog, turns, spins, plays Anthony Gordon through. Anthony Gordon, who came on viciously with lots of link-up play, 1-2s, connecting with his guys, and making constant runs in behind with proper timing, a lot more accurate than Adeyemi, in my opinion. And with his speed, Pedri sends him through with the pre-assist. Anthony Gordon squares it off, plays it over to Rafa, who makes it 2 for himself, takes his brace, and Anthony Gordon is looking good. We're up 3-0, and it's looking sharp, guys. It's looking sharp once again. And another time, we're off to the races. Once again, it's who? Anthony Gordon in behind. This is what we brought you here for. And he comes, squares the ball over to Fermin in an incredibly generous gesture of his, gets his second assist, and Fermin gets his brace. And Fermin and Dani Olmo, that sequence where they were both playing at the 10 and the center forward false 9 position, were incredible, because Dani Olmo and Fermin were interchangeable that entire time. They were going undetected, and the defenses didn't know who to go after. Because one moment Fermin was at the center forward position, Dani Olmo was dropping, then it'd be Fermin and Olmo. Sometimes they would both drop, and Raphinha and Gordon were the ones even behind them. And it was allowing for this a lot of fluidity and movement that was helping a lot of our players go undetected. And you saw that in that goal that Rafa scores, wherever he's coming up with Gordon, and Olmo and Fermin were the ones that had fed them. So it was just looking great, guys. Anthony Gordon came in very well. He had another shot where this time he was a bit more greedy. He's like, all right, I already gave 2 assists, my turn to eat, but it got saved by the goalkeeper. And yeah, I think this game was spectacular. Fermin got himself his goal as well. I forgot. I think it was Xavi Espart who gives him the ball. Fermin has a lovely turn, spins the defender, and then puts the ball at the back of the net, gets his brace, and it's 5-0 to Barcelona, looking with so much firepower in front of goal. And I'm having a grand old time. The second half was everything that I want to see. And you're thinking to yourself, man, we thought a lot of goals left in Lewandowski, in Rashford, all these guys. And we're seeing a Barcelona hang 5 in their debut, with Rafa getting his, Fermin getting his, and Anthony Gordon looking sharp, Adeyemi looking threatening as well. I am excited, guys. You have a Xavi Espart performing well. Xavi Espart, who continues to play in all these sorts of different positions, proving to be incredibly versatile. He's played off the right back. He's played in the midfield. Now today, putting in a shift at left back and being one of the most concentrated players. That's our preseason Masia kid for this year. Xavi Espart making his name into the first team, and it's looking like he's going to be getting a whole lot of minutes if he's performing like this. So I'm incredibly excited about that. And yeah, I think that this game, first half, not that good of a performance. Second half, I think we looked a whole lot better. And I'm just excited because these speed demons that we got in Rafa, in Fermin, in Anthony Gordon, and you're having the likes of Pedri playing and I just like, come on. I think we can all agree, thinking, can you imagine what this team could look like with Rodri and Pedri? With Rodri and Pedri in there. Ooh. I'm loving seeing the guys, and I'm loving that we have this depth, because also that starting lineup is so far from being our starting lineup as well. We've got plenty of guys that are waiting to make their way into the starting lineup. And with the Lamine Yamal on an off day, and we hung 5 goals, I think that's good news. But there's still, I think the first half we can't be going into games like that. Our next game is against Athletic Bilbao. I think it's away, and we already know how San Mamés is away. It's far from easy. We play that game on Thursday, but I like what I see. I like the firepower they were showing, and I think that we need to continue on this stride. But the flick of the Roadrunners is here. Guys that could operate all over the place. Adeyemi, right winger, playing off the left. Raphinha playing down the middle, going back to the right, getting a goal there. Xavi Espart off the left. Gerard Martin putting in a shift at center back, but at the same time, Cancelo coming in doing a right wing position. That we've got depth, guys. We've got guys that are ready to perform and play, and I'm just excited to see how this team continues to unfold and see what it looks like when Rodri makes his way onto the squad. But let me know what you guys thought of the game in the comment section. If you haven't already done so, once again, I'll ask you guys to please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.